All right, students are starting to come in now. Yeah, I'm very tired, so I don't think I'm gonna hold them the whole time. Hi, Jordan.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. All right.
Good, good. Yeah, I read your email. You were emailing in reference to 3 of the answers on the test. Did you go back and take a look?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I did.
okay, good, good, good. All right, we're waiting for, who are we waiting for? We're waiting for Stephanie. We're waiting, now Ben has been sick. We're waiting for Betsy and Katori. And here's Katori now. Okay. Hi, Katori.
Hi.
How have you been? Am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good, good. Oh, we missed you in food service, but who joined us was Jacqueline, and she presented her article.
Oh, that's perfect. So you guys weren't alone.
So yeah, we missed you. We had a good session. That reminds me, I have to post the recording and a canvas for you to read, for you to look at. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it went really, really well. But
That's
we
good.
missed you. Okay, this is Stephanie now. I'm letting her in. Hi, Steph. She's still connecting.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Long time no see.
I know it.
Oh boy, we busy this semester. Now, Autumn, that reminds me, I can go in real quick to see, and I can do that right now. Let me go in real quick to see Autumn and see the last time that she has signed in. She signed in April 1st. So that was just 5 days ago. So I have to assume that Autumn is still in the class. Let me check another thing. The test that is getting ready to close, it's due tonight. So it's going to close tonight. Let me see if she took the test. Oh, I'm wrong. Made a boo-boo. That's all right. Let's see. No, she didn't take the test yet. Oh, I gotta announce there. A number of you didn't take the test, and that test closes tonight. All right, so I have to announce that the test will be closing tonight, yeah, at 11:59. So, yeah. All right, let me go back here.
I'm gonna retake it. I had to work today.
Okay. Oh, let me check something. I'm pretty sure I did that.
I think you did too.
Yeah, because again, it froze on you. I'm pretty sure I did, but you know how you think you did something and, oh, all right, Marcia. I'm gonna share my screen in a few minutes. I'm doing a couple of things. Yes. You have one attempt left, so I did that for you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Yep,
I'm gonna
yep, yep.
take it tonight.
You're welcome. Yeah, because it will expire after 11:59. All right. That being said, it doesn't look like, let me see. This looks like us unless, I was waiting for Betsy. She was in class last night and, right. I meet with Ben tomorrow and we'll see how he's doing. Autumn, I'm going to email to see because I know your group presentations are starting next week. And I think my first group, is it you, Steph?
It is.
Yeah, and Autumn was supposed to work with you.
Yeah, I've been working on it a little bit myself. I did email her as well, and
All right.
I
I'll
got no
make one
response.
more attempt tonight to reach
Okay.
out to her. After that, you go solo. Yeah, because you're up to present next week.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And that's not fair to you, to let you know this later that you've got to pick up the slack and complete the assignment by yourself. So I'll reach one more time with her, so that she can earn a grade. But if she doesn't contact you by tomorrow, you got to get moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, but work on it now. And again, if you don't hear from her by tomorrow, you got to proceed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. I know. So let me share my screen. And I'm hoping, for some reason, I'm all tuckered out between yesterday and I've had back-to-back classes today. I just got finished with a department meeting. And then I stayed on Zoom longer talking to another faculty member, just catching up on day-to-day things and her sharing. She had deaf in her family. So, I'm like mentally tired. So that being said, you should see my screen and let's look at our outline. I love the outlines because it keeps us on track. And it helps me to see what we should be working on when we get into our Zoom meetings and what you should be following when you're working on your assignments. For example, this group 1 has been moved to the 13th. And I looked at the assignment itself. So group 1 presents on the 13th and everything is just like moved down, okay? So that being said, what we're focusing on tonight is that I want to lecture on chapter 10, which is on toddler and preschooler nutrition. And we will also take a look at Dave. Dave is the 5-year-old, so he would fall under this category that you do the plotting of his growth and answer the questions pertaining to Dave. And I'll go to Dave now. And Dave is in the modules right after Stan. So here we are. This is Dave. So let's look briefly at the case study. You click on that and you open it up. And here's Dave. Dave is a 5-year-old male who was referred to the pediatric dietitian due to his pediatrician's concern with his weight gain over the past year. His parents recently divorced and both parents have equal custody. Dave has unlimited access to snacks in both parents' homes, and his favorite pastime include watching cartoons and playing video games with his brothers. So again, it's showing you Dave, his third birthday. He's 32 pounds and his height is 37 inches. So you will be plotting that. And I do have the charts for you to plot like you did for Stan. And it shows you his fourth birthday. He's 40 pounds, 40 inches. He's 4.5 years of age, 42 pounds, 40.5 inches. And at age 5, he's 45 pounds and 41 inches. And then you're going to answer these questions. Don't pay any attention to question 23. It might have changed on its own, but you're going to complete the above table with the BMI and growth chart. And I provided that, but this is a hot link where you can actually get the growth chart yourself. If you click here, you can get the growth chart, but you have to make sure you're getting the growth chart for the boy, clinical growth chart. So I would say that we would go here and you would, I think, what's hot here. I provided it for you, okay? But this is how you obtain the growth charts, okay? And of course, with Stan, we work with the birth to 36 months, but with Dave, we're going to use the 2 to 20 years of age growth chart. And again, click that. No thanks. I haven't gotten the growth charts for a while, but these are, oh, here we go. Clinical charts for infants and toddlers, 2 sets, 10 charts. Okay. Oh, remember we need that third percentile? There's a chart that shows the 3rd, the 10th, the 25th. Ah, see there? Where I gave you the one for the 5th percentile. Yeah. So there are different charts. See how you learn things? And sometimes when they update websites, they give you additional access to information that may not have been available a year or so ago. But yeah, you can see that you can get that growth chart. So let me look at this set 2. Here, this, oh, it kicked me out. All right, here we are. And for example, I can get the black and white. All right, I got to scroll down to get the 2 to 20. This is the children. This is the, I got to make sure I get the boy. Here's the boy. So this is what I should have available to you, okay? Where you would plot his weight, and then you would plot his height, and you're going to also be plotting his BMI. So you go back here and you look for, again, his age, BMI. Here we go, right here. And that's the BMI. And you look, yeah. All right. So I will leave them open just in case I don't have them available, but let's see, I think I do. I'm gonna close that. And yes, I do. See, 20 to 20-year-old PDF. Yes, this is basically the same chart we just looked at. So I did provide them for you, but it's good for you to know how you go to that website and actually obtain those charts for you. And this is the BMI. All right, so it is available to you for plotting Dave's information. Any question about this? This is to be completed by next week. So you read Dave's case study, and you're to plot just like you did for Stan. But with Stan, you just plotted his weight and height or stature. But with Dave, you're going to do his height, weight, and his BMI. You calculate the BMI, use the same formula, height, weight in kilograms over height meters squared. Same formula when you calculate, the toddler's BMI, okay? Any questions? Questions about the exercise worksheet you're to submit on Dave, all right? That being said, I want to go to chapter 10, and I want to predominantly focus on chapter 10, and then we'll see what's important in chapter 11. Again, that's the conditions and intervention chapter. But again, I focus predominantly on just the overall nutrition requirements for that segment of the life cycle. And this is toddler and preschooler nutrition. So we're talking about growth during toddler and preschool age years, slower than in infancy, but steady, all right? So that's something that when we're plotting and we move from the 0 to 36 months, and we're now on a 22 years of age, anywhere between 2 years of age and 20 years of age. I work with adolescents, so I start with ages 13 all the way through age 17. So I have the benefit of telling my pre and adolescents that their growth is going to stop eventually. With my females, I usually see them at age 13, but average by age 14, the average female has completed their height, and they're not going to grow much more. They're all basically at their adult height at about age 14. We have some exceptions, but overall, that's what makes it a little bit more psychological impact when it comes to the weight of females versus males, because females, their growth spurts start earlier, but end a lot quicker. So we see our weight go up in a course of maybe 4 years. And you say, oh my gosh, I used to weigh 90 pounds and now I'm 120. And that fools with your psyche here. Because you stand on the scale and you say, what happened? But you forget that you have grown in height, and you have gone, you have started puberty, you have hips, you have breasts, and you have more fat cells, and yeah, you had a whole physiological change there. Where males, their growth spurt starts a little later, usually around age 14, but they continue to grow up to age 19. Some of them continue to grow at age 20. We have some exceptions, 21. The average male, just about at their adult height by age 19. So the guys have a little bit more gradual way of accepting these body changes. Plus, guys like body change. They like getting taller. Trust me, I've worked with, now females do too. most females, they don't want that scale, the weight to change on them. They like getting a nice height, okay? Guys like the height and they don't mind the weight gain, okay? Yeah, some of them are overweight and actually obese, and sometimes it's hard for you to get them to say, this could be a problem. Maybe I need to exercise more. Maybe I need to look at my portions. But again, there is definitely a clear difference that we start seeing among toddlers, preschoolers, and definitely as they get older. Young children need, there's also it's reflected in a decreased appetite. So we're going to be talking about these picky eaters, and we're going to talk about how do we get them through this phase where they want control over what they decide to eat and what they decide not to eat. Young children need adequate calories and nutrients to meet nutritional needs. Habits established may impact health later in life. That's why the dietary guidelines for Americans start at age 2. At age 2 is when we should be educating them about healthy eating, brushing their teeth, and all of these health habits that they need to start incorporating in their life. And yes, it takes that parent, the caregiver, to show them how to do it. You eat together, you can brush your teeth together, but this is when learning starts. 2-year-olds can absorb so much information. It's best to start early. Going back to dietary guidelines for Americans, we now can reduce them from whole milk to 2% fat, 1% fat, skim milk or non-fat milk. If you think that is acceptable and appropriate, you can start just watching the fat in their diet. Because when it comes to all of these convenient packaged foods, they can easily become what would we say, acquiring a high-fat diet, acquiring a high-sodium diet, acquiring a high-sugar diet. So that's why education, incorporating a variety of different foods, can help take that focus off of them seeing food as being in a package, or seeing food as going to McDonald's or Burger King's or Wendy's, or going up to a drive-up window. Because believe it or not, if every time they eat, it came from a drive-up window, that becomes a way of life. When it's time for me to eat, I have to go to that window and get my food, instead of going shopping with parents and seeing where the food comes from and how it's prepared. So it becomes a way of life. And starting at age 2 is an excellent way to incorporate healthy habits, because it's going to impact their health later in life. Some definitions we need to look at. What are toddlers? Toddlers are 1 to 3 years of age. So I still have 2 grandchildren that are toddlers. I have a 1-year-old, this will be 2 in July, and a 3-year-old that will be 4. April 26th, he has a birthday. So, when I call them toddlers, that's the professional part. And my daughter says, "What do you mean they're toddlers?" I said, "Well, they're toddlers." I was like I was calling them a bad name or something. But they're toddlers, I would say. And they're preschoolers if they're 3 to 5 years. So my 3-year-old is getting ready to, he's actually a preschooler. And he goes to school, both of them. One goes to nursery school, the 1-year-old, and the other one, he's in pre-intervention, and they do very, very well. One gets on a bus, and the other one is dropped off at daycare, and he walks in there like a little man, like he talks about school when he's at home, so he loves school. And I think that's wonderful. Hopefully he'll continue to love school. And that's, these early beginnings do make a huge impact. And you want everything to be positive and fun and pleasant. And so far, he has adapted and he loves school. Both of them love school. Rapid increase in gross and fine motor skills. Definitely, we see those skills developing between 1 and 3 years of age. Our preschool age, 3 to 5, increasing autonomy. That's that building of independence and being able to do things like dressing themselves and be able to, hold a pencil, being able to do more for themselves. Broader social circumstances, increasing language skills, and expanding behavior control. Okay. And I'm seeing a difference in the almost 4-year-old. He still has his moments where he has a little temper tantrum, but his behavior is definitely improving. He listens more. Importance of nutrition. During toddler and preschool years, adequate nutrition is required to achieve full growth and development. Undernutrition impairs cognitive development. So nutrition is huge. They are learning so much during this stage of life, from toddler moving into their preschool years. A lot of development here, and the ability to explore the environment. So exploring the environment is so important, that they have educational toys, that they have a variety of different activities that they can get involved with. The one almost 2-year-old, well, he's 1.5, let's say it's 1.5. The other one's almost 4. Yes, being away from home in an educational setting with their peers of the same age, this is all part of their cognitive development and exploring the environment. And both of them are good schools where they are exposed to all of that. Being at home, yes, you can do it at home, but parents can carry over what they're doing in nursery school or in their school. And again, just things that they can do at home. Economic and nutrition status of U.S. children. Again, with the pandemic and even prior, but definitely now. This is 2013, so we're looking at what 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 25% live in poverty, and it's more than 25% now. 48% live in poor and near poor families. So again, that makes a huge impact on these previous importance of nutrition and their ability to develop their cognitive and their ability to explore the environment. Again, it's a difference whether you can economically afford, and if you have that access to early childhood education. Near the end of this, they're going to talk about WIC. They will also talk about Head Start. And these are some government programs that are funded to help with the needs of children that fall under the poverty level, and definitely live in poor and near poor families. So we have services, but we need even more available. Healthy People 2020, yes, they focus on objectives that are directly related to our toddlers and our preschoolers. And these are in the areas yeah, and look over, your table is quite extensive here, but this is what they have been looking at for a long time, since they were able to collect data on these age groups and these families. And we know that Healthy People 2020, we're now looking at Healthy People 2030. Every 10 years, they revise these objectives. And the first one, increase the contribution of fruits to the diets of populations ages 2 years and older. That's why these the food banks, they have the food pantries, they have the mobile you know, fruit and vegetable mobile, where they actually park in areas that are in food deserts, where they don't have that access to fresh fruits and vegetables. They have to bring their fresh fruits and vegetables to these areas. This is a reminder that in the summer, many of you are going to be eligible for community rotation. That's FNS-200. Meet with me, email, make an appointment so that I can review your transcript, make sure that you've completed all the necessary requirements to start your first practical experience. That would be FNS-200 community nutrition. You still would fall under the reduced number of practical experience, 110 hours of practical experience in community nutrition. Originally, it would have been 135 because of the pandemic. To the end of 2021 is when those reduction of hours will still be in place. In 2022, they could be increasing it back to the original hours. I would say get those hours in this summer, and so that you can move to your food service rotation if you meet the requirements in the fall. And then many of you can become close to completion by spring of 2022. Again, you want to finish these programs so that you can graduate timely. But going back to Healthy People 2020, read through them, and there's still so much we need to do with improvements. So increase the contribution of the total vegetables, that's the same as the fruits. Increase the contribution of dark green leafy vegetables. Yeah, we've got to introduce them early. If we don't introduce them early to fruits and vegetables, they have to taste them. They have to be accessible to them. They'll grow up without enjoying fruits and vegetables, and it becomes a way of life of excluding it. And I work with adolescents age 13 through 17, and some of them have not been exposed to a variety of fruits and vegetables. And at our particular community home, you know, a menu is planned, and we have fruits and vegetables, and it's my job to encourage them to taste, and we're having success. It's never too late to introduce fruits and vegetables, but trust me, the earlier the better, before they start getting set in their ways and difficult for them to make changes the older they become. Look at this: reduce the consumption of calories from solid fats. Reduce the consumption of calories from added sugars. Reduce the consumption of calories from solid fats and added sugars. Reduce the consumption of saturated fats. Reduce the consumption of sodium. Reduce the consumption, increase the consumption of calcium. So again, we're just saying that these are the gaps. These are some of the problems that we are seeing, amongst these age groups. Normal growth and development, and we only are able to track whether they're falling under that normal growth and development is by plotting their weights, their stature, which is their height, and calculating BMIs, and just being able to see if they are within the acceptable percentiles. I mentioned this last week that overall, from birth to 7 months, we see birth to 12 months, sorry, if that infant was born 8 pounds, let's say they were born at 8 pounds, 3 times 8, which is that 21, help me out, 21, you will see that they should be about 21 pounds here, okay? 21, maybe 24 pounds, somewhere around that. At 6 months, they double. So they should be about 16 pounds. So this is interesting when you look at Dave. It shows during his earlier years, how did his weight and match up to this. Here's toddlers, their average gain of 8 ounces per month, and they grow 0.4 inches. Look at Dave and see if he falls under the average here. Preschoolers, the average gain is 4.4 pounds a year, and their growth 2.75 inches. So this is very, very good to plot Dave's growth, weight, height, calculate BMI, plot it, and go back to this information and see how he measures up to the averages. Measuring growth, again, monitoring a child's physical growth. Important for children to be accurately weighed and measured. And we're going to talk more about that accuracy. Oh my gosh, it's like pulling teeth to get weights to be accurate, heights to be accurate. I go through it with my adolescents, and of course I've worked with geriatrics most of my my profession, but with my adolescents, I don't know who took their height, but somewhere in our records we'll have them at I don't know, 5'6". And when I have them take off their shoes, stand nice and straight, I'm getting a height of 5'4". So they say, yeah, they told me I was 5'6". I said, well, you're still growing, and we'll see where you are in a month or so, but I don't want to look like you shrunk since you've been under our care. And they laughed, and I said, no, I that's not good if you shrink. So, we laugh about it. And at times I've had to document that change in that height, because it's just way off. It's not only 1 inch or possibly 2 inches off. I've seen it 3 inches off, like where did they get this height from? So I do let that individual know, and I continue to check their height. And, sometimes they, with their growth spurt, they reach that height that they came in with. So sometimes I wait until they get to that height. Then we have the recumbent length. This is the length of the toddler under 2 years are measured in the recumbent position. So that means that the recumbent position means that, okay, we have them measured laying down from birth up to right before they're 2 years of age. Once they're 2, they can stand on the scale nice and tall, and then we can take their recumbent length. So that's the difference. This is a good national question. When do you start, measuring the height in the standing position? It would be at 2 years of age is when they can stand on the scale. On average, that's when they are able to stand on the scale. It is the World Health Organization, WHO, growth charts used for children ages birth to younger than 2 years. And then, of course, if they're in other countries, yes, we would use the WHO. Or if they came from another country, we wouldn't use the CDC growth chart. And again, if they were born here in the United States, yeah, we could start them off with the CDC growth chart. So we use the CDC growth chart for educational purposes, reference for how U.S. children are growing and gender specific. And again, there is a link for you to get those growth charts as I showed you earlier. When it comes to the World Health Organization, growth standards for children from birth to 5 years based on growth data collected over time in healthy breastfed infants and young children in 6 different countries. So yeah, it depends on what countries. This is an example of the WHO growth standards. And common problems with measuring and plotting growth data. Yes, errors in measuring may result in errors in health status assessment. Use of standard procedures, calibrated equipment, and plotting accuracy are vital. So again, I admit that I plotted incorrectly. For some reason, I thought I lined it up. I go back a month later and I say, I made an error last time, because, it was just not adding up. The depth plot is not consistent with the other, dots of plotting. So accuracy, we strive for accuracy. We make sure our scales are calibrated. I remember a couple weeks ago, not this Friday before last, I went to my community home and the scale was acting really weird. Every time one of the clients got on the scale, that needle kept on going poop, 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 poop. And I moved it away from the wall. They got off. I zeroed it out and it balanced in the center. I put them back on the scale and it was just, and finally, I think I got a pretty accurate weight, but I wouldn't be surprised if when I go in April that, some of my weights might have been a little off. I just afraid that maybe that might be it. So I have to take that in consideration. And again, I try to get, you know, their heights accurate. They always take off their shoes, you know, flat, upright. So again, accuracy. And I do my weights and my heights myself. Some of our settings, we have to rely on the nurse doing it, or a CNA, which is a certified nurse's aide in our, you know, long-term care facilities. So sometimes it's even more difficult when you have other professionals taking weights and heights. You know, they just forget that, you know, there's factors, you know, what's in their pockets, and, taking their height with the shoes off. And I do train in taking heights and weights and so forth, just try to get that accuracy even better. These are some of the physiological and cognitive development milestones that they look for in our toddlers, at expanding physical and developmental skills. At 15 months, crawls upstairs, okay? 18 months, runs stiffly, okay? 24 months, walk upstairs 1 foot at a time and jumps in place, okay? And our little toddler, he's been jumping, so he's probably been doing that in nursery school. I mean, he can jump. He takes both feet together and he does hops. So, and he's not even 24 months yet. He's more, I guess, close to 18 months there. But yeah, his running isn't too stiff. He's cute. He runs with his arms stretched out like he's an airplane. And I mean, he'd be moving. I had him outside the other weekend, and they were outside Easter. And I mean, he has those arms out and he's sailing across the grass there. 30 months, alternates the feet going upstairs. Okay. Yes, he holds on to railings because the little leg's a little too short to not hold on to something. Yeah, alternating 1 foot at a time. Okay, I have to see if he's doing that. 36 months, rides a tricycle. Okay. So these are some of the the skills. These are some cognitive. Toddlers often orbit around parents. Yes, they do. Transition from self-centered to more interactive. Verbally expand. So they're speaking in sentences instead of just one word. They're starting to say, I want to play. I want to go outside. Temper tantrums are common. Those terrible twos. You have to laugh about it. But again, with some behavior modification routines, they settle down and they become more cooperative. This is development of feeding skills of toddlers, 9 to 10 months, bottle weaning. Yeah, you want to start before they turn a year. You definitely want them to be completely weaned off by 12 to 14 months. No more bottles. You give them the sippy cups. That's a nice transition way of getting them off the bottle into a cup. They definitely need the sippy cups because, they're turning where the liquid will just go down the front of them. 12 months, refine a pincer grip. That means they, can pick up small things. 18 to 24 months, able to use tongue to clean their lips, okay, and has well-developed rotary chewing, so they're chewing a lot better at 18 to 24 months. Adult supervision vital to prevent choking. Oh yes, this parents forget. You put them in a high chair, you put the food in front of them, and you walk away. You've got to sit with them. They have a tendency to not chew like they should. They have a tendency to put too much in their mouth. So it's just where definitely the 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old, we haven't had problems with him in a little over a year. But, the younger one, we still have to watch. And sometimes I say, what's in your mouth? And sometimes it's something you gave him 30 minutes ago, he's still in his mouth. So, and definitely putting too much in his mouth. So, so you got to supervise feeding behavior toddlers. Rituals and feeding are calming, meaning that you really have to have a plan. It's got to be a schedule. They don't like to always stop playing to eat. May have strong preferences and dislikes. Food jags. That food jag is common. A food jag is once they like something, they become fixated on that one thing. Only eating cheese. For one of my grandsons, the one that's getting ready to turn 4, his was pepperoni. So he likes salty processed meats. He liked ham. And if you gave him a meat that wasn't salty, now he's getting out of it. He's not just acquiring that process. And I told my daughter not to give it to him too early. And sometimes that could be the reason. They just want to eat the same food over and over and over again. What you want to do is still encourage them to eat other foods. We have found that it can take 10 or 11 times that you offer a food to a toddler, and then they'll eventually taste it and say, oh, okay, I like this. And you're like, wow, I wanted you to taste this months and months ago, and now you're finally enjoying it. If you can get them to taste it, that's key. You don't want to pry their mouth open and force it, maybe talking. And if you're eating it, and then sometimes they get curious and then they'll go ahead and taste it. And then you say, oh, okay, I think you like it, or something like that. So again, serve new foods with familiar foods. That's what we mean. Don't just give them that one food that they insist that they only like. You still want, and I give them a section plate, because sometimes they don't want that other food to touch that food they like. I know they're pretty what would I say, finicky about things. So have that compartment. So, and then again, they'll pick up many times and taste it. Again, toddlers imitate the eating behaviors of others. So they should eat with the rest of the family. Definitely when they go to preschool, they're eating with other children. That can broaden their ability to eat a variety of more foods. Okay, so that helps if they see other toddlers eating, especially if a toddler enjoys and they look like, wow, that person's really liking that. I think I want to try it. Appetite and food intake of toddlers, slowing growth results in decreased appetite. So as their growing slows down, that's the reason why they're not as hungry. We know that typically a growth spurt is happening when they're hungrier and they eat more. Who is in a growth spurt is my 14-year-old grandson. He's been eating more. He's thinned out. He's taller than me now, 14. I said, oh my gosh, can't believe it. But when he eats more, we say, okay, we just want to eat more of healthier foods, more of healthier foods, because he's definitely going to a growth spurt. Toddler-sized portions average 1 tablespoon per year of age. I'm typically asked to what point? I would say definitely up to age 5. If they're one tablespoon of each food, again, if it's say that it's lasagna, 1 tablespoon of lasagna, 1 tablespoon of green beans, applesauce, yeah, okay, and then and you give them small frequent meals. By age 2, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons, 5 tablespoons. After 5, we pretty much they should be adapting to that portion that their body needs, because we don't want to overfeed or underfeed. Again, this is when they can start developing habits of overeating. And you don't want that. You really don't. And of course, you want them to have enough also. Establish regular but flexible meal and snack times. Yes, they should be eating breakfast, lunch, and snacks in between. And again, they don't have to eat a whole lot at one time. That's why that tablespoon, 2 for 2-year-olds, 3 for 3-year-olds, and there's a variety of different foods. Okay, it's not just 1 tablespoon of, the mashed potatoes. They're getting, fruit, vegetable. They're getting the meat. They're having milk. So again, it's from all their food groups, and small frequent meals. So they're getting more frequent meals. And again, you want to get them on a schedule where it becomes routine. Cognitive development, this is the magical thinking and agrocentrism. This has to do with just making up their own mind, and they are very into themselves, okay? And they do have a huge imagination, and that's good. That's why we want them to explore their environment, learning to set limits for themselves. Also, beginning of the cooperative and organized play. This is that sharing and not being so possessive. Again, you have to emphasize sharing. Expansion of vocabulary to over 2,000 words. Wow, you'll be surprised how many words they know. And begins using complete sentences. So again, this is your preschoolers. This is your 3 to your 5-year-old. Okay. Development of feeding skills. These are preschoolers. Can use a fork, spoon, and cup. Eating becomes less messy. Spills occur less frequently. Food should be cut into bite-sized pieces, and adult supervision is imperative. You still have to supervise your preschoolers. Feeding behaviors of preschool age children. Appetite is related to growth, okay? If they're growing, their appetite should be increasing. Increases prior to the spurts. That's interesting. Involve child in meal selection and preparation. I know they can be a handful taking them grocery shopping, but set limits. Have them pick out a one of their favorite healthy snacks, or have them pick out something that they really, really would like. Last time, I've been a couple of times, but about a week or so ago, I took the 14 and 11-year-old to a ShopRite, And they said, we have our own money. So they went in a shop, right? And they came, they found me, and they had already paid for, and they had a little bit of everything in their bags. My grandson bought those pot stickers. He loves them, and he cooks them, put them in a little pan with the water around it and all that kind of stuff. But they had their favorite food. Both of them had a little pint of ice cream. So I said, okay, again, it was their money. And again, even at age 2, 3, 4, they can pick out 1 or 2 foods that they decided that they wanted, in a grocery store. Innate ability to control energy intake. Children adjust calorie intake to meet the caloric needs. That's why you say, if they say that they've had enough, don't force it. Again, small, frequent meals. Avoid telling children to clean their plate. Yeah. You just put small amounts. If there's food waste, then it was too much put on their plate to begin with. So again, just putting a little bit, and if they want a little more, then they can have a little more. But no, nobody wants to throw food away, but yet we should not put them in a position of cleaning their plate. Healthful eating habits must be learned. So again, it's all about step by step, and it's up to the adult to what would I say, be a role model. They look at what you eat and how you eat and when you eat. So again, sitting down and eating the same foods is a good idea, because what's good for you is good for me, and so forth. Appetite and food intake in your preschoolers. They may prefer familiar foods, comfort, or control. Again, this is when they start, I never saw that before, and ew. And I usually have to clean up that term. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah, my grandson, 3-year-old, said, that's nasty. I said, wait. Just say that you don't want it, but maybe at least taste it. Yeah, it's this fear of the unknown when it comes to food. But again, offering it, just because they said no one time, you don't put that in the dislike basket. They're just not familiar with that food. It needs to come back again, and offered at another time. Sometimes they just don't want it, doesn't mean that you never offer again. Young children often do not like their foods to touch. I mentioned that before, or to be mixed together. Wow. Yeah. Our 3-year-old, he doesn't like his food to touch. For example, if he wants bread, he wants bread. You don't automatically put peanut butter on his bread. He likes peanut butter from a spoon. He likes his bread to be plain bread, and that's the way he likes it. So again, we're not to force them, and you pick up on the way that they prefer it. Temperament differences, behavior styles of children. Going back to behavior, main temperamental clusters, easy temperaments. We have difficult temperaments. We have slow to warm up, and we have remaining styles. This is intermediate low to intermediate high. So again, there's definitions for the interpretation of these temperament clusters, but it's just letting you know all children are different. It's just like when it came to infants, we had to be able to pick up on cues, what are they communicating with you? Remember, with these toddlers and preschoolers, they still have limited communication skills. So again, you have to listen to them. Sometimes they say no and they mean yes. So you sort of ask them and find out if they know the difference between no and yes. Sometimes they're getting the two mixed up. You would think they don't sometimes, but generally when they say no, they mean that. Food preferences and development, appetite, and satiety. Satiety is that fullness and satisfaction. Children food preferences do determine what foods they consume. So again, they have their preferences. Naturally prefer sweet and salty taste. Again, it can be what we say hereditary, it can be learned, acquired. But again, we pick up on some of these preferences, have preferences for energy dense foods. Yeah, some of them like, foods high in sugar or high in fat. Influenced by media, yeah, that fast food. When I mentioned that drive up to the window, that they become, that's what they prefer. I remember my daughter was young. She was preferring Campbell's soup over my homemade soup. And as far as I was concerned, that was an insult. How can you possibly like Campbell's canned soup more than my homemade soup? Come to find out, she liked that salty flavor because Campbell's soup was pretty salty. So again, it wasn't that my soup wasn't good, it wasn't salty enough. Ability to adjust caloric intake based on caloric needs. So again, it's time for all of these considerations with their intake. Yes, I mentioned these are your DRIs. Again, DRIs are in the front inside cover of your textbook. And if you look at those ages from 1 to, actually, is my book handy? Pull it out. Take a look at the DRIs and the nutritional requirements. They have definitely separated males from females by this time because there is a difference between their energy needs and some of their nutritional needs. Going back to energy needs, reflects slowing growth of velocity of children in this age group. So you see that they don't get as many calories per kilogram of body weight. You'll see the big difference there. When it comes to protein, again, look at their protein needs. If we go back to the infant, we were looking at, again, what was it, 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Let me grab my book. Again, it's a reference, so memorizing, you try to memorize what you can, but if in doubt, you go back. Oh, here's my life cycle book. Oh, I try to put everything back on my shelf so I don't have books all over the place. So if somebody can call out the page, but I'm almost there. Yes, I'm in the chapter 10, and if we go to energy needs, and I can also go to the DRIs, and I can go there. Okay, energy and nutrient needs are on page 263, and it does talk about energy needs, and we actually have a formula, and it's the estimated energy requirements, the EER formula. And I do use this for my adolescents. So there is a EER formula for children ages 13 to 36 months. There's another formula for Oh, and they do have an example of a healthy 24-month-old girl, and they showed you how to use the formula. Again, this is on page 263 under energy needs. So that's really, it's like different formula. We use either the Harris-Benedict, we can use the Mifflin-Sanjur formulas. We have an EER for adults, and the difference between the Harris-Benedict and the Mifflin formulas is they don't incorporate the activity within the formula. They just look at the weight, height, and age. With the EER, they look at weight, height, age, and activity level. So you can take a look at that formula. Then when we look at the RDAs, we can look in the front cover, very front cover, and let's look at, they do have the EER for 0, that's birth to 6 months. They have EER at 570. And then from 6 months to a year, they have 743 calories per day. 1 to 3 year olds, they have, let me see, 1,046 calories. So they do have the EERs. These are for healthy, and these are, again, estimates again, but we do have formulas for individual. Let's go to protein, and you can see that the protein is their grams per day. So they don't have it as grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. They have the grams per day of protein. So from birth to 6 months, 9.1 grams. By 6 months to a year, we're looking at 11 grams of protein. But let's take a look at our toddler, 1 to 3 years of age, 13 grams of protein. 4 to 8 years of age, 13 grams of protein, okay? So, oh, these are males, and then they have females, and you'll see the differences. So you see that they have males, then they have the females. So always look at your DRIs, and of course, we have formulas that we can also follow. And the formula again is on page 263, the EER formula. If you turn to page 264, there's a table 10.4, estimated energy requirements for reference boys and girls at selected ages and varying physical activity levels. So they have here a 3-year-old boy. So they have 3-year-old boys, 4-year-old boys, 5-year-old boys, and under that they have the 3, 4, and 5-year-old girls. They have the reference weight, okay? And this is again their average weight. We have heights, and we have sedentary, low active. So they give you the calories they should be consuming. We also have protein needs. This is good. On page 264, ages 1 to 3, 1.1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. 4 to 8 years of age, 0.95 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So that's where you go to determine how much protein, again, they should be consuming. And this reference table 10.5, this is the one that I am looking at on page 264. When it comes to vitamins and minerals, we have a table 10.6, and 10.6 is also on the same page, and they have iron, zinc, and calcium, okay? And they have 1 to 3 years of age, 4 to 8 years of age, and they again, like the protein, they didn't differentiate between males and females. They're going to be the same. Oh, here we go. Here's that same table I was referring to on page 264. And this is the page on the iron, zinc, and calcium. So this is the table. Very good tables. Iron deficiency anemia is prevalent among problem among young children. We do know that when they turn 1 year of age, they're still on, you're still introducing a variety of different foods. And what can happen is when you're weaning them off of breast milk and or baby formula, it's being replaced with whole milk. And if you don't watch it, they still think they should be drinking their diet. And it would be in a form of milk. God forbid if they're drinking sugary beverages, that's even worse. But going back to milk, they should not be over consuming milk, because now the milk can be replacing other foods that contain nutrients such as iron. And therefore there's no iron in milk, and it can be depleting the iron in their diet. Making sure that we're not letting them over consume milk is very important. They should only be receiving maybe 2 to 3 servings of milk. And of course, getting the rest of their nutrients from meats, fruits, vegetables, grains, okay, from the other food groups. So that's one way of preventing iron deficiency anemia. It may cause delay in cognitive development and behavioral disturbances. Also diagnosed by their hematocrit and their hemoglobin concentration. So checking iron for iron deficiency anemia is very common in the WIC program. And pediatricians will commonly get lab values from our toddlers and our preschoolers to make sure they're not getting too much milk and they're getting enough iron-rich foods in their diet. Yeah, so here, preventing iron deficiency anemia, limit milk consumption to 24 ounces a day. I said 2 to 3 servings, and yeah, that's what it adds up to. Infants at risk should be tested at 9 to 12 months, 6 months later, and annually from ages 2 to 5. This is for iron deficiency anemia. They will check their hemoglobin and hematocrit levels, nutrition intervention, iron supplements, counseling with parents, and repeating screening. That counseling with parents is that there are parents that just don't focus on getting variety in their diet. And remember, milk is easy. You open the refrigerator, pour it in a little sippy cup, and that toddler goes happily on their way, okay? And again, parents have to take time and prepare meals, including all the food groups, and not giving them too much milk in between meals, because that fills their tummies and then they're not hungry at mealtime. Dental caries are another problem, very prevalent among the 1 to 3 ages, and 3 to 5 years of age. Yeah, the bottles, they can get that, they call it bottle rot. That's why you want to wean them off of the bottle by age 1. And no later than maybe a year and a half, but the quicker the better. Because if they're still sucking the bottle, they're mobile. They can lay down with the bottle in their mouth on their own. That milk lays in the back of their mouth, uh, rotting their teeth, causing ear infections. So again, whether it's milk or juice or any beverages with sugar in it, it's going to rot the teeth. Again, causes bedtime bottle with juice or milk. Look at this Staphylococcus mutans and sticky carbohydrate foods. Yeah, you need to be definitely not laying down with a bottle. So that means just weaning them off the bottle. Making sure after mealtime that at least rinse their mouth out, and they need to start getting used to having their teeth brushed. This is at age 1. Not easy, but with with practice and repetition, they get used to brushing their teeth. What we're finding is, I just bought it's called Mystic, and I don't have it handy, but I do have my charger here. But some of you may have it. You put it in your mouth and you close it, and it's like ultrasonic waves of cleaning your teeth. They have those for toddlers also. So you're not going like this, they just clamp, and it's like a vibrating motion around your teeth. Anybody want to share? Anybody have one of those types of toothbrushes? Yeah, I just bought one about a month ago. I love it. I really do. And it's really, really easy to clean. And my daughter says, "Oh, I got them for the boys." I said, "Do they like it?" She says, "Yeah, it's been working good." But yeah, they have, and you just clamp it and it just vibrates and cleans their teeth. So it works well. But yeah, definitely cleaning their teeth has to start at age 1, and definitely 3-year-olds, 3 to 5-year-olds, because again, their teeth can become decayed. How do you prevent? They need fluoride. Supplemental amounts vary by age and fluoride content of water supply. You don't want it to be over fluoridated, because then they can develop having too high of a level of fluoride, which will cause the pitting and the staining of their teeth. So too much fluoride is not good, and not enough fluoride. Fluoride is needed to maintain a healthy enamel, strong enamel, so that they can help fight decay. And again, just cutting down on juice and milk and sticky foods, and starting for them to brush their teeth. Very important. We have issues of constipation. Sometimes it's those carbohydrate foods, crackers, and different, chips and all kinds of dry carbohydrates. And if they get more fruits and vegetables in their diet, some grains within reason, and adequate water, we can reduce that constipation. And again, what is constipation? Hard, dry stool associated with painful stool movement, causes stool holding, and diet. Stool holding, again, they're approaching age, definitely potty training. And again, they don't want to soil their pants, so they'll hold. And the more they hold, yes, their stool gets solid. Again, routine. getting them on a schedule where they're sat on the potty so that they can again eliminate. Give them foods that will help move. I don't want them to have loose stool, but to keep them regulated. That's the fruits and the vegetables and adequate water. And there you go, fiber and fluid. You have to introduce it in their diet so that again they'll get used to avoiding, and they'll eliminating, and they'll again making it easier to train them also. Elevated blood lead levels. We still have older homes that have paint that had lead in it. We have toys that they have checked the lead levels of, that's in the paint or the coloring on toys. Again, it is still being seen in 1.6% of children ages 1 to 5. So, we have known of children, putting their mouth and sort of chewing on the edge of a window sill. You say, why would they do that? Children put all kinds of things in their mouth, and they'll put their mouths on different things. So, in paint, different colorings, there's a degree of lead that could be in that paint or that coloring. Low level, why is there a problem with lead? It leads to low level lead exposure is linked just low, small, is linked to lower IQ, impaired motor behavior, and physical abilities. High blood lead levels may decrease growth and reduce lead poisoning by eliminating sources of lead. So sources of lead would be testing the paint in older homes, scraping, sanding, repainting. Again, they have analyzed toys and taken them off the market. And so there's things that have to be done and have to be done to keep that lead out of the bodies of our toddlers and preschoolers. Some nutritional considerations would be factors for elevated blood levels, also the same risk factors for iron deficiency anemia. Yeah, young age, poor nutrition, and low economic, socioeconomic statuses. So we have to focus on their age. We have to look at their the nutrition in their diet, and we have to look at their social economical status. We do find that these populations tend to be a little higher. Going back to food security and of course food insecurity is that lack of accessibility to a variety of different foods, the fruits, the vegetables, and just accessibility to these foods. Defined as access at all times to sufficient supply of safe, nutritious foods. That's the security that we want for all of our children. A concern for growing children, since food insecurity may hinder growth and development. So again, insecurity is what we have to be mindful of, be able to zero in and provide, safe and a variety of foods for this population. Food safety, young children, they're especially vulnerable to foodborne illness. Some of you are ServSafe certified, okay? Therefore, we know that our age groups that are more vulnerable to foodborne illness would be pregnant women, infants, and young children, along with our older population and anyone with any illnesses that will suppress their immune system. So we've got a huge area of people that we have to monitor when it comes to food safety. Here's the fight BAC, which is that fight back food safety practices, clean, wash hands and surfaces often. Oh boy, when it comes to those toddlers and preschoolers, every time you wash their hand, you turn around and their hands are dirty again. So I take my grandchildren, sons in the powder room when they come back from playing or just playing in general. I said, let's wash our hands. And now the older one, he's getting where he keeps, I can see he's been working with washing his hands, and he rinses and he dries his hand. And younger one, he's getting there. At least he pulls his hands under the water and lets you sort of do it for him. But pretty soon he'll be, doing it himself. Separate and don't cross-contaminate. So yeah, we have to make sure clean, separate, cook to the proper temperatures, and chill, refrigerate promptly. So again, that fight back is that, again, clean, separate, cook, and chill. And this is a very simple way of reducing foodborne illness. Prevention of nutrition-related disorders, overweight, obesity in toddlers and preschoolers, multifaceted problem. Yeah, and it's becoming more and more of a problem. Difficult to treat, making prevention the preferred approach. Prevention, all of the above that we've talked about need to be in place. It starts very, very young. And once they have established habits, and habits is something that you automatically do without thinking. And we want them to develop healthy habits. The habit of eating at a certain time, habit of even trying new foods. Just play a game. Today we're going to try a new food. You start at age 1. You start young. So this is something that they're used to doing. Instead of all of a sudden, at age 3, you want to start introducing foods they've never seen before. It's gonna, the older they are, that's gonna be more of a challenge, getting them to try foods. The younger, the better. Again, all of this, the washing their hands, the brushing of their teeth, all of this needs to be developed young. Assessment of overweight and obesity. As I mentioned with Dave, you're going to be plotting the weight, the height, and then you're going to calculate BMI, body mass index. And when you plot at it, you will see where they fall in percentage of their height for weight, age for their BMI. It says it right on there, and you will see if they fall within the 5th, the 20th, the 50 percentile, and any children that are over, if they're at 85%, we'll look at it. I think it's in the book. If they're at 85%, they're at risk. It talks about the risk. Oh. Okay, here it goes on page 269 at the bottom. Overweight, the body mass index for age between the 85th and 94th percentile. They're considered to be overweight. If they're at 85th to the 94th percentile, they're obese if their BMI is greater than or equal to the 95th percentile. BMI rebound, a normal increase in body mass index that occurs after the BMI declines and reaches its lowest point at 4 to 6 years of age. But when you're looking at Dave, you're going to determine if he's overweight or if he's obese. And if you look at page 269, you can definitely determine that. I love good information on page 269. Overweight and obesity in toddlers and preschoolers. They have assessment of overweight and obesity. They have prevention of overweight and obesity. Limiting sugar sweetened beverages. Encourage. I might have this coming up on slides. Here it goes right here. Yeah. This is a very, very good educational information that you can provide to parents, provide to teachers, anybody that's working with the toddlers and preschoolers. Yeah, limit sugar sweet beverages. Encourage fruits and vegetables. Limit television and screen time. Eat a daily breakfast. Limit restaurant and fast foods and limit portions. It's got to start young, and we're talking about starting at age 1 and then just continuously working towards that prevention of overweight and obesity, but it's got to start young. Here we are, prevention of nutrition-related disorders, treatment of obesity, overweight obesity, expert committee recommendation. Stage 1, prevention plus. Stage 2, structured weight management. Stage 3, comprehensive multidisciplinary intervention. Stage 4, statutory care intervention. And that is found on page, let me find it. Oh, yes. It's on page 270, and it breaks each one of these stages down. This is a very, very good treatment plan that when they are stage 1, prevention plus, and it defines this stage focuses on behaviors identified in prevention section. Healthcare providers can identify dietary and physical activity. And it may be, nope, I don't have slides that show that. You'd have to go to your textbook. It's a very, very good tool to be used in your intervention sections for someone who's in stage 1. Stage 2, they refer to this stage of treatment is more structured and requires more frequent follow-up. Some of the elements of the structured weight management plan include planned diet or daily eating plan. Further reduction of screen time to less than 1 hour per day, planned supervised physical activity or playtime for 60 minutes per day. It sounds very similar to what I do with my adolescents. I focus a lot on physical activity for them. Being age 13, 14, 15, 16, they're in their setting at the residential home. No, they don't let them sit in front of the TV. they have activities, they have a schedule. You know, they have times when they have to clean their room, they have times when they have counseling, because, you know, they have to sit with counselors because they're there for behavior modification because of different variety of behavioral problems. So yeah, they keep them busy. They have exercise programs that I take a big part in, and come up with ways of getting those 60 minutes of physical activity most days of the week. Um, yes, we do have stage 1 prevention plus. We do have the stage 2 structured weight management, which is incorporated where they almost don't realize it's there. We're not real strict, but again, physical activity is one of our major parts of that stage 2. Stage 3 is comprehensive multidisciplinary intervention. Briefly, the intensity of behavior change is increased in including the registered dietitian. So yes, I would say that, you know, being at the residential home, I do implement stage 3 in many cases, where again, um, uh, exercise specialists. At times, they do have someone that focuses on exercise. Behavioral counselors, they definitely have that. And primary care providers, they have their physicians, is needed to maximize support for behavior change. So yeah, the program is really centered around stage 3. And if we look at stage 4, this stage is offered to severely obese adolescents who have failed other interventions. This stage is not appropriate for obese. Yeah, so even for adolescents, we do not introduce that stage 4. I don't put them on strict diets, calorie control. We promote a variety of foods in their diet. We limit, you know, the sweets, and they go shopping, and they make sure that they, you know, buy predominantly healthy foods. We have that planned menu for them. Dietary guidelines for Americans. We're definitely with the 2020 dietary guidelines for Americans. And I keep telling myself that I'm going to put that link, but I always tell students just put in dietary guidelines for Americans 2020 and the new guidelines come up. These guidelines were published the very end of December, early January. So there are the most updated dietary guidelines for Americans. They emphasize the importance of maintaining appropriate calorie balance during each stage of life to maintain weight and to support principles of pediatric weight management. Looking at prevention of nutrition-related disorders. We want to prevent cardiovascular disease because, again, there can be early signs like high blood pressure, for example. We can see elevated lipid profiles in some of our children, even at younger ages. So starting at age 2, we want to reduce the fat in their diet. We don't want to put them on a low-fat diet, but we don't want excessive saturated fats and trans fats and cholesterol in their diet. We can take them off of whole milk and put them on 2%, 1%. I usually recommend the 1%. That works well, or a gradual from whole milk to 2% to 1%. We have to look at the acceptable macronutrient distribution range for fat and 1 to 3 year olds. it's the 25 to 35% of their calories coming from fat. And again, for adults, it's 20 to 35. So they just get 5% more at low end. Again, 20% is a little too low. 25 to 35% is where we're looking at for ages 1 to 3 and also 4 to 18 years of age. When it comes to vitamin and mineral supplements, a varied diet provides all the vitamins and minerals needed, but even with a varied diet, it doesn't hurt for them to have a multivitamin, okay? So when it comes to the AAP, recommends supplements for certain groups of children. If given to children, vitamins and mineral supplement doses should not exceed the DRIs for the age. So again, if you go to the inside back cover, it covers your ULs. Those are the tolerable upper intake levels. So we make sure that we don't even come close to these upper levels. We look at the DRIs and we don't exceed the DRIs when it comes to vitamins and minerals. We make sure that if it's a vitamin and mineral, it meets no more than 100% of the DRIs. You don't want something that's 200%, 300%. Yeah, that's definitely. Herbal supplements, parents who take herbs are likely to give them to their children. So that's a concern. Advise parents potential risk of herbal therapies and the need to closely monitor children if they're given supplements. I think when they're into herbal supplements, I think they should just focus on getting fresh, whole fruits, vegetables, and grains. Focus on that. And what they think are in these herbs are probably just naturally found in foods in general, but within the right ratios. So a lot of these herbal supplements, they are concentrated. They're concentrated and they can really reach, dosages that can be harmful. These are the dietary and physical activity recommendations, dietary guidelines for Americans 2020. Again, very similar to the 2010, but 2020 continues to focus on offering a variety of foods, limiting foods high in fat and sugar, using My Plate. They have a children's My Plate, encouraging consumption of a variety of foods from 5 food groups. And this is the children's My Plate. All right. So when you're educating children, parents, teachers, caregivers of children, using their My Plate is a very, very, it's colorful, it's fun. So using their My Plate. Again, recommendations for iron. Yes, they should be eating a variety of meats, fortified cereals, dried beans and peas, to get fiber, whole fruits and vegetables and grains, fat. Follow the dietary guidelines in My Plate. Again, you want nutrient-dense foods. Ways of getting too much fat, too much sugar are these packaged foods. Again, shopping around the perimeter of the supermarket with children, instead of going up and down these different aisles where they're seeing all these packaged foods. A lot of those packaged foods are just eye catchers, but take them into the produce section. They should be taken into the dairy section and the meats and different breads and watch that cereal aisle, because there's so many different cereals. It can be just overwhelming, a lot of sugar in many of those cereals. Fat-soluble vitamins, yes, we find them in our milk, dairy products. They're saying fat-soluble vitamins, but why are they talking about calcium? I have no idea. But fat-soluble vitamins would be your vitamin A, your vitamin D, vitamin K and E. And of course, calcium is a major mineral found in dairy products, canned fish, soft bones of the fish, green leafy vegetables, calcium fortified beverages. Excuse me, Curtis? Yeah, we can hear you. All right. Fluids, beverages, foods, and sips of water. So again, variety. These are the grams of carbohydrates. No, this is the percentage of calories coming from carbohydrates. 45 to 65%. They're 56 to 55% of their calories should be coming from carbohydrates. This is their percentage of calories coming from protein. All right, males 14, females 15% of calories coming from fat. So this is just another way of determining, their percentage of calories. Cross-cultural considerations, build on cultural practices. Yeah, again, we have to support familiar foods and ethnic practices and foods and holidays. So the more we're familiar with their culture, the more we can help them incorporate healthy based on their cultural foods. Vegetarian diets, again, there's a place for vegetarian diets among children, but again, we have to be very careful because the vegan diet is so restrictive. The macrobiotic diet can be very restrictive. So again, making sure that it's well incorporated. And when it comes to this, it said it tends to have lower growth rates, but remain within normal ranges. So again, but it's got to be varied. And people just can't jump in there and think that fruits and vegetables is a vegetarian diet. Provide 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks per day. Avoid excessive bulky foods like bran. Include energy-dense foods like cheese. This is if they're the lacto vegetarian, lacto-ovo, meaning milk and eggs. Provide omega-3 fatty acids can be found in tofu. Definitely can be found in fish, your fatty fish. So it just depends on what type of vegetarian they are. You have to ensure adequate calcium, iron, zinc, vitamin B12 and D. This is child care nutrition standards. It's an estimated 23 million preschool age children attend a child care program. So again, we have guidelines, education, making sure that the menus are approved by highly qualified professionals like the DTR, the RD. Nutrition standards for child care services exist and specify minimum requirements. So they do have requirements for these programs. Offer food at intervals not less than 2 hours or no more than 3 hours. Physical activity recommendations. Yeah, games in yards and parks, family walks after dinner, freestyle dance, hide and seek, ring around Rosie, Simon says. So again, just all sorts of structured activity programs to make sure that it's being included. Nutrition assessment, table 10, 12. Yes, we'll take a look at this in a few minutes. And then model program would be the Bright Futures Nutrition. This nutrition intervention for risk reduction fosters trusting relationships to promote optimal health for children. This is looking at that table 10.12. These are normal hematocrit levels for your children. 39, hemoglobin 14, serum ferrin should be greater than 15. Your serum iron greater than 60. Serum total iron binding capacity 350 to 400, and the serum transferring should saturation percent should be greater to 16. So yes, we look at lab values, and again we look at the LDL. Yeah, should be less than 110. This is looking at their this is their total cholesterol. This is lead screening. Wow. So again, these are certain values that pediatricians look at. As a dietitian working in this population, I would definitely look at those values. Here's the WIC program I spoke of earlier, the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. We have the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Seasonal program for WIC participants provides vouchers to purchase local grown produce at farmers market. So yeah, these are some of the added programs that are under WIC. We have the food bank, especially when you are in our practical experience for community nutrition, FNS-130, that many of you should be moving in the summer. Many of our programs focus on education, focuses on accessibility of fresh fruits and vegetables. So here's the Head Start program, Head Start and Early Head Start. Again, designed for social economic levels that gives these families that are disadvantaged the early childhood education starting at ages some of them can start at 2.5 years of age up to age 5. And then we have the Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program. That's the SNAP program designed to help adults in low-income households buy food. So many of these programs, all of them, you will be exposed to when you are enrolled in community nutrition rotation. That is your chapter there. It is almost 7:30, and let me take a look at, let me reduce this and reduce this again. Okay. I want to go back to our outline and see, I'm going past my outline. Like I said, I wanted to end a little early, but let's see, is that feasible? Yeah, next week I'm starting with child and pre-adolescent, and I can definitely tap in on chapter 11 a little bit. Okay, so I can look at and see if they're, definitely read it. I'm not telling you to skip over any of these chapters. It's just me going through it step by step. Read chapter 11. I will go into chapter 11 and highlight some areas in that chapter. And then we will have our first group presenting next week. All right. So we have to give time. Make sure group number 1 is presenting on the 13th, that you upload your PowerPoint and information so that you can present it in class. So it's got to be uploaded prior to class so that you can present it. And then, of course, the following week will be group 2 presenting on the 20th, group 3 presenting on the 27th. And that should be the class presenting. So we have like 4 weeks in a row, because we only have, we are 3 groups. So 3, Tuesdays in a row. All right. Starting next week on the 13th. We also have next week, let me see. All right. I will be posting test 5 on chapters 8 and 9. And as you can see, 8 and 9 are your infants. So thoroughly get ready. You still have time to read, review, study. And next week on the 13th, I will be posting that test. Again, posting the test on your infants. Going back, yes, that's on infants right here. That's going up next week. We'll stay up for 1 week. We'll close on the 20th. Remember, your test that opened last week on chapters 6 and 7 closes tonight at 11:59. I really only saw 1 student that had taken that test. So I have many of you that are going to have to get up there and take this test before it closes. Don't get up there at 11 o'clock and try to take it. It closes at 11:59. So you don't want to wait to the last hour. You're going to have to go in there tonight shortly after I finish this Zoom meeting. And you got to get ready to take that test. It's been up there a week. Next week, I'll be opening test 5 on chapters 8 and 9. That will close April 20th. So again, we are coming down to the wire. Let's see. You don't have any case studies due. Your last case study was on chapter 9. We went over that last week. So I'm pretty sure we went over that last week. Yes, we did. Okay, which was in chapter 8. So you don't have any more case studies due. All right. Any questions? Questions? Last call. The 4 of you are way too quiet. I'm gonna start asking questions next week. I'm gonna start, going from Katori to Stephanie to Betsy to Jordan, and hopefully some others will be joining us. I know Ben, he's been sick. Who are we missing? Yeah, Betsy, you showed up. I gotta mark you in. All right. Betsy, did you join class late last week?
No.
Okay.
I don't remember, no.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I didn't mark you in. And I usually look up to see if you joined us at any point. So yeah, I have Stephanie, Jordan, Betsy, and Katori. And Ben has been ill, and I've got to email Autumn to see, if she's still with us, because yes, Stephanie needs to get her presentation done and uploaded before class next week. So again, how are the other groups doing? Katori, your group member working with you?
Betsy.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got a good team member there. Good. Jordan, that's right. Jordan, you're solo because Ben hasn't. Yeah, Ben's sick. Ben has COVID. So yeah.
I've talked to him now.
Oh, is
I've
he
spoken to
working
him.
with you, Jordan?
No, he still isn't. I spoke to him, but he hasn't been working.
He's been,
with me,
yeah,
so.
he's very sick now. So yeah, earlier when you first reached out to him, he didn't have COVID. But now he's really not able to really work with you. So you're gonna have to go solo, okay? That's about it.
Already sounds good.
Unless Jordan and Stephanie, did you want to team up, or it's too late to team up? What are your thoughts, Steph?
I'm already almost finished mine.
That's
Fine.
I'm already,
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't want to impose if she's
Oh,
already
Jordan,
finished.
you're good. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions, concerns? Okay. All right, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Every time I go to turn this off.